Rich Eisen, the NFL Network host and host of the Rich Eisen Show on DirecTV Audience Network, Channel 239, that follows this one, also on brlive.com. Good morning, Rich. How are you?
DP, how are you?
I'm doing okay. I'm curious that people, if I ask them right in the middle of that quarterback sneak, is this a good idea for Patrick Mahomes before the injury? What do you think? How do you think people would have responded to that question?
Of course, it's just it did. Come on. I mean, how many times have we seen a quarterback sneak and the quarterback does not have his patella tendon moved by the pile? I mean, Brady's done it a million times. He's the king of it. He's done it. So he did it for touchdowns twice last week at age 42. It's just a freak accident, a total freak accident. And maybe it can also be born out of the fact that the Chiefs' running game is essentially, prior to last night, before McCoy ripped a few off, totally non-existent.
Yeah.
I mean, they have no running game of which to speak, to lean on, to perhaps keep their defense off the field, to perhaps keep the pass rush from pinning their ears back and going at Mahomes, who was hobbling around like Fred G. Sanford for much of the season so far. And I think you pour it all in there, and you got people thinking that was a poor choice of a play call.
If you're Andy Reid, do you stay with Matt Moore?
Well, I mean, have we heard anything yet?
No.
Okay, so, yeah, you do. The crazy thing is he hasn't had a single snap all year, but that makes sense because you have Patrick Mahomes. So, yeah, that's what you do. But if you find out if he's out for the full season, I don't know what plan they would have. I see a lot of talk about Eli Manning, and again, you had a 24-year-old who can run like a deer as your reigning MVP behind that offensive line that, again, would love to hit people as opposed to be hit with a run game that really doesn't exist. I could only imagine if that scenario got Mahomes limping around, what would happen with Eli Manning back there, and I just don't see that. The only option I would say, and I'm going to say it on my show, I'll say it here too, is if Mahomes is out for the full year, if that does in fact happen, then they should kick the tires on Kaepernick. They should absolutely see what's going on there. I think Kaepernick and the Reid offense, the way that they're coordinating it, would be dynamic if he's able and willing, and everybody can get on the same page. And again, Andy Reid is a coach who once gave a second chance to a guy who strolled out of Leavenworth, and maybe he could do that convincing, but that's a long way potentially away. And by all accounts, it looks like we're less than a month away from maybe Mahomes returning.
The question of the week, and it feels like I've stumped everybody when I ask it, second best team in the AFC.
If Mahomes is hurt, is what you're saying? Or
this is even before that, and I didn't get Kansas City as the second best team.
Yeah, I would have said the Chiefs.
Really?
Yeah, because Mahomes is. Have you ever seen anybody like him? I mean, ever. I mean, we've seen guys who can run around. We've seen guys with cannon arms. We've seen guys who can do both.
Well, Rodgers. I've seen Rodgers do this.
Right. Correct. That you could make Rodgers. You could put him in that mix. But even some of the throws that Mahomes makes, we haven't even seen Rodgers attempt. I mean, I don't know how many times we've seen Rodgers go no look or left-handed, and I know that that's circus stuff, but it's worked. So Mahomes is just such a difference maker. He can turn a 3rd and 20 from instead of a 3-and-out to an 80-yard touchdown, quote unquote, drive. So that alone, I think, would put them in that category. But the way that Deshaun Watson is playing, I, however, see the Texans having a very difficult spot in Indianapolis. Colts coming off of a bye week this week, which would throw the AFC South wide open.
Talking to Rich Eisen, NFL Network, and host of the Rich Eisen Show, available on DirecTV's Audience Network and BR Live, coming up at the top of the hour. The Jalen Ramsey's trade.
Yes.
I didn't quite understand it because I didn't feel like that addressed the biggest issue that they have. And you're also bringing in a corner. Who do you have to shut down in that division? So it's not like you're bringing him in to go, I got to shut down that receiver when we face them twice. Tell me how Jalen Ramsey improves this Rams team that they get back to being a Super Bowl caliber team.
Oh gosh, he removes half the field from the view of your quarterback that you're trying to put on the turf, and if he even gives Aaron Donald a split extra second to get to the quarterback, look out.
Yeah.
And it might not just be to win the division. First of all, Tyler Lockett is somebody that I know that the Rams have blanketed, and even Russell Wilson has found that 6 square inch loophole to put the football in. And they need to start winning some football games. It's not just the division; they got to start winning some games, and which is why I'm sure they're very happy to see. I know that there's holistic medicine here, and people eat well, and Los Angeles has a nice lifestyle, but man, that back got better really fast for Jalen Ramsey, and just in time to face Julio Jones this weekend. Yeah. So it's not just the division; it's gonna be this week right away.
But the offense, though, is the issue.
Well, I mean, the offense is the running game. I had Les Snead on my show yesterday, and that now completes pretty much everybody. I haven't had the owner on, but I've had the coach on and the general manager on, and MJD and other people who have followed this team, and everybody swears that Gurley's knee is not an issue. It's just the amount of miles that have been on his knee. They want to remove the foot from the gas pedal and allow him to, I guess, have weeks 10 through 17, or for them, 18, 19, and 20, have him with his high volume as opposed to weeks 1 through 6 or 7. And that's the issue. The run game, if it's not working and the offensive line isn't firing, the play action's not working, and Goff is under duress. So I understand that Ramsey doesn't run it, and it won't make it more efficient on offense. But if the offense keeps getting back on the field a little bit more and keeping the defense fresher because Jalen Ramsey is getting off the field, and Les Snead basically said, hey, we looked at it in 2020, you'd have to figure their draft choice would be in the bottom half of the draft, if not bottom third or quarter, and they're not going to get Jalen Ramsey there. Mm-hmm. And they've locked up the quarterback and the running back and a wide receiver, and Donald. It's not like that they need these first-round picks to start finding tent poles for their team. So Ramsey was the guy.
If I said to you, Rich, you can have Jalen Ramsey for 2 first-round picks or Trent Williams from the Redskins for 2 first-round picks, and you're the Rams.
Oh, I still go Jalen Ramsey. He's generationally talented, Dan. I mean, he's tremendous. I can't believe Jacksonville coughed him up. Unless, obviously it was so bad. I think you even heard it in Doug Marone's voice this week.
Oh, I know. He's just like, I'm done with that. So somebody else answer a question on Jalen Ramsey.
Exactly.
But you got to spend a lot of money on him, too, coming up.
I know, and they know that already. I asked that of Les as well, and he said that, they didn't talk dollars and cents with his agent before pulling the trigger on the deal, but They know. I mean, certainly 2 first-round picks being coughed up, that they're going to have to pay him, and they'll figure it out. This defense right now, there's 10 games left in the season, and they still can be one of the best teams, if not in their division, in the conference. And making the move, I thought, was aggressive and smart when it all comes down to it.
All right, the ongoing Julian Edelman Hall of Fame debate that we somehow created. And
I mean, how many times do you beat this drum?
Well, we didn't bring it, but we didn't bring it up this time around. It surfaced again. And then, we thought, well, we should probably bring it up again. Okay. Can Julian Edelman be the modern day Lynn Swann, where regular season, not elite, postseason, unbelievable?
I think he can be. Why not? I mean, when Brady goes into the Hall 5 years after, whenever he decides to stop playing, we'll be talking about Brady to Gronk and probably Brady to Edelman. Some people, might bring up Brady to Moss, Welker. I mean, his first Super Bowl that I covered, when he beat Carolina and Houston, he was flinging it to 15 different people, and then Deion Branch, caught all those footballs against the Eagles. But Edelman is as clutch as they come. I mean, you need the first down. You need needed a big moment in the postseason. So, yeah, the answer to that is yes. I think
is he a Hall of Famer?
Time would seal it. I think one more time would seal it.
Yeah.
Don't you think? Like this year would seal it? And it's just amazing. I mean, it is really amazing how the Patriots just keep chugging along, and they might be better now than they have been at any point since 2007. I mean, they really might be. I know they don't have Gronk, and they don't have, anybody on defense that you can literally point to and say that's your Pro Bowler. But they are just so deep and so good, and Brady is so unbelievable. They are the best team in the AFC, and I'd be stunned if they were not in South Florida at the end of the year. I mean, who's going to go in there with everybody playing the way that they are? And I know there's a long way to go. Who's going to go into Gillette and win an AFC Championship game against them? Like who? Would it be Deshaun Watson maybe on a big day? And if the Chiefs can pull it all together, I mean, who's going to go do that?
Yeah, Harbaugh seems to have the number of the Patriots, but I'm asking Lamar Jackson to go in there against Belichick, and
that's a lot.
Yes,
it
is
a lot.
I think he was a little more seasoned than I would say the Ravens could do it and the Texans could do it. Because one thing you can do, or if you can do, get into a shootout with New England, you can beat them. But that's where Kansas. That's why they wanted to keep Antonio Brown, because they know at some point they have to have some offense. This is a team that won the Super Bowl with defense last year. I think that they realize they're going to have some offense.
And that's why Kraft when I woke up in London last week and I read about the bloodbath, because the game in Thursday Night Football or any night game in London is played while you're sleeping. And I woke up and I saw Kraft went on the pregame show and basically said about just told Gronk, don't lose our number or look for the 617 area code, when on your phone. The record doesn't matter. They know what might beat them in situational games against certain teams and certain downs and distances, and which weapons they need to overcome that. And that's why they wanted Antonio Brown. That's why when all the craziness was going down with the Robert Klemko piece that did lead to finally the parting of ways, that you heard that some members of the coaching staff didn't want to lose him. And that's why you're hearing about Gronk now. It doesn't matter if they're 8-0. They know what would hurt them come December and January. They're that good at planning. So I'm still, and it'll be interesting. It looks like they're taking the hands-off approach now, saying, let Gronk be Gronk. Let him go hang out at Fox. Let him go, top rope with the WWE. But I still believe when it comes down to it in November and December, somebody's going to kick that tire.
Who's on the show?
We have Omar Epps, the actor, and then the directors and producers of the Lego Movie would be most notable for Phil Lord and Chris Miller. And from the Denver Post, Mark Kistler will be joining us. I don't know if you read what he wrote.
Yes.
See what he wrote?
Yes. Yes.
I was going to text that to Fritz, but, the game wasn't closed. So
there we go.
Yeah.
It's still in the chute, Todd. It's still in the chute. Definitely didn't need to use it last night.
Hey,
not after that punt, that fake punt.
Oh.
I mean, I almost burned my Punters Are People Too T-shirt on the spot.
Thank you, Rich. Have a great weekend.
You too, bud.
That's Rich Eisen, NFL Network host.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune into Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV. Stream for free on BR Live or download the Dan Patrick Show app.